account. And I forgot to switch it up to the main one, but now it's at the main one, so you should be seeing it. So there we go. Well, I've got my good friends Matt Knowles and Steph Cannon, and they are kickstarting awesomeness right now, and I'll let them go, and we'll get to being visional. You won't see me because unfortunately I'm tiny. So thank you, Skype. But yeah, guys, so you're live, and while I draw, like, tell us about your Kickstarter. You're like you've kicked ass so far. You got a few days left, so. And I'll be sure to pin the URL, the Kickstarter URL, so please give if you can.
Yep. Steph, if you want to take care of what we are, I'll get the link into the comments and we'll go from there.
I am Steph Cannon, and I am one half of In Symmetry Creations here with Matt Knowles. Together we have a content creation company called In Symmetry Creations, and we are currently running a Kickstarter for our latest project, which is a comic set in our one of our IP's world, and a accompanied album that goes along with it. We have a steampunk time travel series called Heirs of the Isildur that we have done, and we have a medieval fantasy series called Tales from Nocturnia. Coincidentally, the name of this Kickstarter is Tales from Nocturnia versus Heirs of Isildur, or Heirs of Isildur versus Tales from Nocturnia. It is a metal album and a comic together. We can talk more about what all is involved in all of that.
Okay, so like for the people that aren't familiar with your work, like what is it about? I mean, of course, Elders of Isildur, you think of, Tolkien, because Isildur, the whole thing. And why a metal album of all things? I mean, people do random stuff on Kickstarters and it works a lot of the time, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it's just weird, but it's working because obviously you funded way beyond whatever you had before. I am kind of brain dead, so I apologize. But yeah, definitely. Like, how much over are you for your goal? Like, what is your goal and what you have now?
So right now we're at $9,867, 170 backers. Obviously, anybody that's on Kickstarter wants to do as much as they possibly can. The best campaign we've ever had was 10,540. But so if we can at least eclipse that, then we're going to feel like we're still moving forward in what we're doing. We have 4 days left. It actually is going to end on Sunday night. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of things to unpack right there. So I'll take what Heirs of Isildur is about. Steph, why don't you take what Tales from Nocturnia is about, and then I'll go back and we'll talk about Why Metal. So Heirs of Isildur is our steampunk time travel series. We try to take a different spin on what time travel is. When you think about time travel, you think mostly like what you see in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, or what you see in Back to the Future, where somebody's got this time machine and they're going to other places and they're doing something there and trying to affect the future through acts of commission. In this story, we look at it in the reverse. It's about this guy, Michael Isildur, who is the watchmaker in the town, who wants time to operate exactly as it should without any deviation. That's exactly what the whole town wants. They want no deviation. If anybody tries to deviate, anybody does anything that they're not used to, it's like Salem witch trials, they're going to get removed. So Michael, through his curious nature one day, he likes to build, he likes to do things with his hands, and he's fixing this machine that accidentally opens up a time portal and starts bringing people from other eras to him. Mm-hmm. Because this happens, all kinds of shenanigans take place, and by the end of our original arc, The Crossroads Conundrum, our main character, Michael Isildur, finds himself in mortal peril. What we answer in this comic, which is called Nightmare Scenario, is a bridge comic between our first arc and our upcoming arc, The Perilous Prospects, is he alive, has he perished, or is he somewhere in between? The reason why this is such a big deal is because Heirs of Isildur is about Michael Isildur. That's it. He's the main character. So people are like, did you actually kill this guy off? Is he going to find some way to survive? Or is the next arc going to be about the people that he has brought through the portals, his heirs, so to speak? We really have enjoyed putting this comic together, enjoyed the storyline, so we can tell what the story is that's going on here. It's wild, it's crazy, it's insane, but it's completely something you would expect from Steph and I. So I'm going to throw it over to Steph to talk about Tales from Nocturnia, but I will hit on one point that you said there earlier. You would think Tolkien when it comes to the title Heirs of Isildur. Yes, as a musician, I'm very much into Lord of the Rings. very much into that whole thing, and I wanted to use the title Heirs of Isildur for the music side. So our steampunk story, Heirs of Isildur, doesn't really fit with the medieval fantasy genre. But what Steph's going to talk about, Tales from Nocturnia, absolutely is the thing that's going to appeal to the people that are into fantasy and that kind of stuff. So Steph, why don't you talk about the Nocturnia side?
So Tales from Nocturnia is actually a spin-off from Heirs of Isildur. One of the characters that comes through the portals to appear in front of Michael is a medieval king. And when we were having that particular issue where the king appears for the first time done, the art from it we got back from the artist. There was this executioner being part of the story. I won't get too far into it because it doesn't really pertain to our Kickstarter at least, but there was an executioner in the background of this medieval king, and we kept looking at the executioner and kind of going back to him. There was just something about him that really drew us to him, pun intended. And so we kind of got our heads together and said, you know what, we would love to learn more about this kingdom of Nocturnia that this king came from. What happened to Nocturnia after he left? What is that kingdom about? And so we explore that. We have 3 issues with that, and we have a trade that goes along with it. And it is about the main character is the executioner, and he is somebody that doesn't really want to do execution-y anymore.
Wants a career change. It's like
He wants a kinder, gentler lifestyle. It was something that he was born into, and he is kind of at a point in his life where he's wanting something more, which is a theme that we have with a lot of our characters in many of our stories. And there is there's dragons. There's there's a bigger story with the neighboring kingdom of Sinisteria that is their mortal enemies, and there's an imminent threat that is befallen the kingdom in the wake of this king's absence. So that's what Tales from Nocturnia is about.
So the question you said, so why metal? So my background is as a metal musician, and I have a previous band that had a bunch of CDs out in the underground. When we did the first arc for Heirs of Isildur, the Crossroads Conundrum, there's actually an album by the same name. So that arc and book all have a symbiotic relationship between the story and the songs. As we were going through doing the Tales from Nocturnia Kickstarters, of which we did 3, for every campaign, we wrote some original music that would go with the campaign. So when we got to be ready to do this campaign and be ready to do this album, we had a handful of songs on one side for Heirs of Isildur and a handful of songs on the other side for Tales from Nocturnia. And we're like, which one's going to win out? And there was, wouldn't it be cool if this was like, Marvel versus Capcom or Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or something like that. And so the album cover for Heirs of Isildur versus Tales from Nocturnia is exactly what you think. It's an homage to Marvel versus Capcom with the characters from either side ready to do battle. So we have splatter vinyl that we're doing with this campaign. So on the album, one side has got all Heirs of Isildur songs, you turn it over, the other side has got all Tales from Nocturnia songs. So that's how we've got a metal album and a comic that are both involved and together in this one Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, yeah, I'm very, very pleased with how it's been going and everything. And guys, just be sure to say hi and all that. You might have to say it on the main one, my main page, because I won't be able to see the comments. So if you've been talking, my apologies if anybody is speaking on, because I saw that you shared the video, Matt. Thank you very much. Is there anybody commenting on your end?
So Doug Pendleton said, seems interesting. Pop says, hashtag Hail Christie, Hail Top Billing, Hail Spring, Von Kettle Prom. And then Quentin William White says, sup y'all, sup C, sup Douglas.
Oh, there you go. They're always saying hello and stuff.
Yep. And then let's see here. And then things start getting a little strange. Hail Van Zant, the ultimate master of the ultimate universe.
Oh, you know what I realized? My Facebook is not updating in the stream chat, which is annoying. So.
Really? So I've got that up over here. So it's just a bunch of everybody hailing each other and praising each other and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, okay. Computers, they're supposed to make our lives easier, and that didn't happen, so whatever.
Technology.
Right, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
insert my giant happy dance. Okay, well, what's funny is my computer screen was covering up part of that comment, so all I saw was insert my giant, and I was wondering what happened with the comment there.
yeah,
I don't know
right.
if there's comments in, I don't know if there's comments in other places. That's the ones that I'm seeing. So.
Oh, okay, those are the ones that you are saying. Oh, well, when somebody's like, oh, somebody was telling me that she has 2 more days in fuckbook jails.
Oh, geez.
Man, that's been like strict lately. I feel like everybody I know, they breathe wrong and they get,
Oh, you know what?
now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I better be careful what I say.
You know what happened is that somebody actually once said, somebody, like one of my friends, she quoted Monty Python, the Black Knight, after the hell's limbs have been hacked off, he says, I'll bite your kneecaps off. She quoted that, and that's when they put her in Facebook jail. And I'm like going, you guys have absolutely no fucking context where you're going.
Because there's a rampant, threat of people biting other people's kneecaps.
Well, and the thing that I've seen too is like people like, I guess I just got dinged for a post that I put up 2 years ago. I'm like, what is even going on? Why are people getting dinged for something that they posted a couple of years ago? I'm like, is that what Facebook has time to do? Is go look at 2-year-old posts to see who should get banned for a week?
So I saw an interesting news article the other day about this very thing, but it was kind of a little bit deeper than that. It was talking about Facebook moderators and how there's only so many of them. There's, like a billion, over a billion people on Facebook or something. There's a huge astronomical number, but then there's only a very small amount of actual moderators that are looking at these posts and reviewing them. And they said that they were interviewing one, and he said, we get to see the worst of society all day long, every single day. That's our job, is to look at the actual really bad posts, the ones where people are saying really terrible, racist, awful, hateful things, or threatening people, or threatening their own lives. That's what they have to sift through, and I think that they are
I think they're a bit. I think you would think after a period of time it would be like, okay, what is really important? Because they seem to be just getting all the stupid stuff. I don't think they're like going and do that.
Yeah. So it's just kind of an interesting analyzation about it. It's like, man, that would kind of be a tough job, just to filter terrible comments all the time.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, there you go. One of my friends went on there too. It's like, yay, I can do that. So apparently, my stupid YouTube and everything has been kind of donged out. But hold on a moment. Let me see if I can go back in. I apologize. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
So Dory Jones says, my entire comedy pages were stripped to nothing without any recourse, appeal, or otherwise. Face love is seriously out of their ever-loving minds. That is her.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's really dumb. Yeah, I'm sorry about Lori. And it's like my current thing is not working. So let me just go in here. Give me just a second. But yeah, but that's good. So where are we at now in this lovely story in this? So you're doing the crossover branch, right? While I tweak with this, I swear to God, sometimes like with these things, it's like, oh my God.
So like we said, right now we are at it's a bridge story between these 2 Heirs of the Silver arcs. And the reason why we decided to do this comic was because the original Heirs story was something that I had written a long time ago. Steph came in very early on and helped to get it from an illustrated novel and an ebook into actual comic form. When we went to write The Perilous Prospects, I've had notes for a lot of stuff for quite a while, since, before Steph and I even met. The problem is that the notes that I have were taken when I was writing this as an ebook. So I knew how I wanted the storyline to progress, and even if it was just a comic and say the comic was coming out bi-monthly, there's a different way that you could present the comic, a different way you could present the story. If it's a weekly webtoon or a weekly TV show, you present it a different way. But for what we do, being someone that does stuff on Kickstarter, you're not coming out with a comic book every 3-4 months. And the American reading even more. And so elongated storylines are not as much things that you can get away with, because people are going to be like, dude, I haven't seen anything from character C for a year and a half. That's too long. I've lost interest. I've moved on to something else. So I basically opened up the folder of all the notes that I have for The Perilous Prospects, and that is the Steph and I, on a very regular basis, are like moving chess pieces around. We know what the arcs are, we know what we want to be doing, but what is going to be the best way for us to present this so that someone like Christie Shinn, when she goes and reads it, she's going to go, oh, that's cool. I feel like I've gotten enough meat in this issue. I'll be okay with waiting until the next one, not having you go, this is far too many storylines going on at once. I'm a little bit lost. I don't want to pay attention to this anymore. So by pulling out the Nightmare Scenario arc from Perilous Prospects, which is pretty much one of the most important arcs that's there, is the main character even going to be around anymore? Who's going to be the main characters in the Perilous Prospects? We felt like that was going to be a fun arc to be able to tell. And it's one that the way that it is developed in the comic is just nuts. When you say that stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean we don't know any different than do crazy. That's what keeps us on our toes, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a challenge because you kind of want to do the whole thing like, with the Mandalorian, they put enough in there, so even if you're in the middle of it, you kind of can understand the storyline, and if you want to go back, you can go back. But at the same time, like, especially with Firefly, like, they did the movie Serenity, and I'd never watched the series before, but then I went back a bit and watched some of the series. So it's one of those things like, oh, okay, I am interested enough, but it's not like it tells me the whole story, but I'm not lacking horribly if I just start in the middle.
Yeah, that's actually a really good comparison to it. That's the idea that we had. We just wanted to, like Matt said, we just wanted a good jumping in point for this next arc so that people weren't kind of bogged down with the this expositional catch-up, basically. And so, and we knew that we were going to do the album, and we had talked very early on that we probably didn't want to do just the album. We kind of went back and forth. We want to do a Kickstarter for just the album, and then we move on to Perilous Prospects. And our fans know us for, and supporters know us for doing stories and music that goes along with it. But there is a very big majority that are buying just the comics. So we didn't want to leave them out. We didn't want to exclude them and play just to our music side. And we wanted to make sure that, kind of both sides kind of got what they wanted.
Yeah, I think one of the things you just said too, which I think is a really good example of the struggle that Steph and I have had, the chess piece movement here. Like you said, the Mandalorian, it was just enough in it. But imagine if with the Mandalorian you weren't seeing that on a weekly basis, you weren't able to binge it. If you're like, hey, I'm going to go watch an episode of the Mandalorian, but I have to wait 2 months to see the next episode, and 2 months after that to see the next episode. They probably would have had to piece it together a little differently than they did to make sure that people weren't forgetting arc points by the time the next episode came along. So that's been the big thing for Steph and I, is that we really believe in the arcs that we have. We believe in the different story plot points. It's just making sure that we present it in a way that doesn't leave these big giant openings so that people are waiting for a year before they get the next part of character C's story or character B's story or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, there isn't such a thing as character C or character B. I'm just using that as an example.
Well, I mean, don't reveal all your secrets. They want they want to have some anticipation with a book, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, no, that's really funny. Yeah, right. I mean, so like, hey guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, go ahead and comment now. I think I fixed the damn thing because I was being silly. But just to let you guys know, so this is like, how many days left again? I apologize.
That's all right. We're at 4 days left. It's going to end on Sunday.
So push them over. I mean, get them as far as they can. What number would you like to be at?
We would like to. What do you say, Steph?
Well, I know for me, you always want to have it be your best campaign ever. So if we can eclipse that 10-5 number that we had from our last campaign, that would be awesome. I honestly think that we're going to be able to do that. I have faith. I feel like we can do it.
Honestly, I think. Let me take a look. Sorry.
It would be awesome to say, we did a couple thousand over what our best campaign was.
Oh, 9867.
We have a good friend of ours that we feel like he's got to have a crystal ball because during our last campaign, he was throwing numbers out there. He'd be like, I predict you're going to get to this level. I predict there's going to be this many backers today. And like, it felt like about half of those things that he said happened. It felt like just hilariously. And he presented a number to us before the campaign started. And he was like, I think you guys are going to get to 12-8. And we're like, there's no chance that with a single issue and multiple variants of collectible colored vinyl, we're even going to approach that. And
now I'm kind of like, we might be able to do that. I don't know, stranger things have happened.
I mean, hey, you know what? Shoot for the stars, and if we fall a little bit short of that, you never know. But the thing is, as silly as it sounds, and this is not being cheesy. Yes, we want to get to that level, but we want to get to that level because people are investing in the Kickstarter, because we really believe in what we're telling story-wise. We believe in the songs, we believe in the lyrics, we believe in the products. And the higher the number is, the more people we feel like are going to say, hey, my money was well spent buying into this campaign. It's not just the intake coming into us, it's making sure that we're confident we're giving back out to the people. So the more people that back it, that we feel there's going to be more satisfied people out there supporting, the campaign.
Well, and also you have to look at it this way. Like, I've seen a lot of campaigns that are ambitious like yours. With Kickstarter, and it's like weird because you kind of know once you do Kickstarter, it's kind of hard to explain because you can't say, oh, it's just these shitty things that happen and they just publicize it's just this. No, I've seen good and bad, fund and not fund, but it's like there's a certain method to the madness or a certain pattern once you get it down, and the patterns always aren't like solid. Like last year was kind of crazy, I did too, Yeah. This year it's been kind of weird because there's a lot of people in different states are on tenterhooks because they don't know if they're going to do things or not. So what we're doing is that in actuality, the thing is that like I've seen ones, I did have to kind of laugh at them because they were quite silly, and they were like, we have an album and a movie, but they never funded, but then the person never really went out and pushed it like how they had to. And then you have people that really pushed it desperately and they didn't fund, but that was because just of how they went about it. And it's not, it's like something you got to figure out in a way. And that's the best thing I can say about that.
Yeah, like we talked about before we got on, Kickstarters aren't for the faint of heart. You don't fund by accident. You don't fund just because you throw a page up there. People that are doing big time money on Kickstarter, there's a reason for that. Just because they launched their campaign and it looks like they're printing money, they've done a lot of free work. They may have a career in this industry that has gotten them to the point where they can do this. They may have had previous campaigns that are big. They may have had some kind of, you can be a Pat Shan. It feels like Pat Shan's got a new campaign coming out every month. But Pat Shan is successful with what he does, and he's involved in some great projects. So each project begets success in the one that follows after that. And it's a grind. We started major promotion for this 15 days before this campaign started, and it's been nonstop ever since. And if you're not doing that, if you're not out there promoting your project, somebody else is going to be filling that void and promoting their project, and your project's going to be the one that's going to get forgotten about. If you're not excited in promoting your project, somebody else is going to be excited about theirs and promoting theirs.
Well, and also people say, oh, it's just by chance. It's like, well, no, it's very methodical once you get the pattern down. Like, you look at Madeline Holly Rosing. Like, I think she was able to do a 30,000 one already. Like, she really hit goal like crazy. But the thing is that the initial numbers she tried to do, the first Kickstarter she failed at. I was at that point, too, where I failed, and we just, forget it. So we took a break, we regrouped, and we just figured out a thing.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring up Madeline because she was somebody that we looked to when we first started. There was a lot of conversations between us and Madeline. We had her ebook about Kickstarter promotion.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to do a lot of research, and you have to look at the people that have done it before you and take and heed their advice. Because if you put a goal out there that is too high or too low, people are going to, they may not back your campaign just because you put a goal that's too high or too low. Because if you're like, oh, I've got a 20-page comic and my goal is $15,000, people are going to look at you and right off the bat they're going to say, this person has no idea what they're doing if they think they need that much money to do this comic. if you put a goal up there of $50 for a comic, they're going to say this person really doesn't need Kickstarter because they only need $50 to be funded. You have to have realistic numbers, realistic goals. And make sure that, like you said, you're putting yourself out there and you're forging relationships. Steph had a lot of great relationships prior to us even getting onto Kickstarter that really springboarded us. She brought in Russell Nolte as someone who we looked at. She brought in Charlie Stickney. She brought in Madeline. I guess I kind of brought Madeline as well. I brought Madeline and said, here's somebody you need to meet. But then Steph actually met her at a show and started developing that relationship. But having those relationships with people we could bounce ideas off of it, thoughts off of it. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Really helped us to be able to jump in and have some success.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. Also, you kind of also what makes me cringe is that sometimes I think also what's another failure with some of the Kickstarters was that they sell each other themselves too short. That's another thing too, because you'll have people run a successful Kickstarter and they can't get it out there because they say, oh, well, yeah, well, I didn't figure in my postage and stuff, and I'm like, what? It's like I'm going to lose more money. And it's like, then why did you run a fucking Kickstarter and waste your time? It's like, well, I just want, no, you are dumb for doing that. Sorry, I mean, I'm going to be frank. It's like, you don't want to go and lose your shirt. Why are you running crowdfunding if you're losing your shirt?
You can't go into something like that unprepared and without the proper knowledge. And the proper knowledge is doing a lot of research. We did like 6 months worth of research, and not just talking to all these people, but research on our own. We did spreadsheets where we would look at somebody's campaign, we looked at Charlie's campaigns, Madeline's campaigns. We actually did spreadsheets to talk about, okay, how many tiers did they do? What did they offer? What was the dollar amount? So that we knew going in what it is that we needed to be prepared for. I think a lot of people think, oh, I just slap a few images on a Kickstarter and make a short video, and then people will just flock to me to want to read it, and that's not the case unless you already have a really, really well built-in support system. You have to know all the ins and outs. You have to know all of the sneaky little things that will come up like that, like postage. And postage is always going up, as we realized with our last campaign, when postage rates went up during our campaign.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it ended up being okay, but and you've got to prepare for foreign packages too. A lot of foreign backers will choose digital, but not all of them. Some of them want the physical thing, and they're willing to pay the shipping, but you've got to figure out what the shipping is ahead of time so that you don't end up screwing yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing what I found interesting. It's like, you have to account for the box and the packaging and all that. That is cost. And what people don't understand and know is that, postage actually, when they pledge, the postage will actually go towards your goal. So that will actually get it to you quicker. And I'm not saying over hyperinflate everything and make it unrealistic, but like, okay, here's the price of what it would be if I sold it in store. I need to make my profit. I need to make my stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that then you got to say, okay, package and shipping, this is this much. It's always good to overestimate a bit rather than underestimate, because if you eat it, it's bad. It hurts.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. And absolutely agree. And we actually ran into something the last 2 campaigns, which really sucked, is that we had our postage figured out during the campaign, and by the time we went to fulfill, there was a postage increase. We had one where the postage went up. There was a surprise increase 3 days before we went to fulfill our campaign. So we ended up eating a few $100s that were unforeseen. But do we like charging $37 to ship a package to Europe? Absolutely not. But that's what we're getting charged. And you know what? As much as we don't like that, we like even less, losing money on somebody who backed us. We can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not feasible. I know people think that that's a horrible thing to do and it's a butthole thing, but no, you have to be pragmatic sometimes. And sometimes people go like, oh, well, that's terrible. But it's like, look, I think any fan that's worth their salt will understand cost, Yeah. And that's why you have the digital rewards. You always have the digital rewards. That's why Dory says, that's why 100% I don't ship my canvas anymore. I'm cool holding onto my work until somebody cool comes to my door. Don't trust postage calculators in any website other than USPS if you're in the US. Well, this is what I do. okay, this is my personal thing. I take like a choice country, like I just grab an address from a country, right? Like, okay, I'm grabbing it from China, or I'm grabbing it from England, or I'm grabbing it from Canada, or Australia, or the Netherlands, something that I normally ship to a lot, or I end up shipping to a lot, or that I've shipped to. Then I'll put in, I have this really great online thing called Pirate Ship. It's it's great. It's just, I mean, if you upgrade, yeah, it can be a little bit more automated, but if you don't, that's fine. And what I do, because I use my Square, not Square Up, or it's Square Up, it's not Squarespace, but your Square POS. They'll give you a free website, and what's nice is that you can also add shipping to any of the things. So what I do is that in Pirate Ship, I'll calculate to the countries that I've had, and it'll give me an overview of what the price is, and then I'll put that in my estimate for international or whatnot.
We've actually heard a lot of really good things about Pirate Ship, and we've looked into it. We haven't made the jump yet.
I personally use it. I've used it personally. They're really good.
Okay, yeah, that's what we've heard from several people now. In fact, I don't know if we've ever heard a bad thing about them. Everybody that uses them suggests them to us, and I think it's just been a matter of we've had to shift some dates around for when we've done Kickstarters, which is we haven't been prepared enough to learn it in time for launch and make sure that we know what we need to do. But I've heard some great things about it. I think it's definitely something that we're going to consider.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's good. It's not a pain in the ass to use. It doesn't cost you anything. The most it might cost you is like you just get a postage scale from, from just Amazon, but those aren't that expensive, and then you can ship it, and it'll save it. And what's nice about it is that you can program it. When I say program, you really don't need that much programming, but you can actually have an email that's sent out to the person with their tracking number. So it's one less step for you to do.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of funny too, because when we do Kickstarter fulfillment, we make sure I'm in California, Matt's in Florida. We make sure that I travel to Florida because everything's getting shipped to him. Our printer's in Florida. But we always make sure that both of us sign whatever needs to be signed, whether it's issues or any other kind of merch that needs to be signed. And then, of course, I help him with fulfillment. So it's like a big party. I go and I stay a week, and we just live off of coffee. And from the time that we get up till the time, it's like midnight, we're doing Kickstarter fulfillment, but we have, his little local post office. We come in there with our wagon of packages, and we always get the same lady, and she knows us now. And she's great, but she sees us come in and she's like, oh, I'm going to be here a while doing this.
Oh, what's also great about Pirate Ship is that when you do the processing, you can process it all from home.
Yeah,
so you could just... It's very simple. I just drop it off. Oh, sorry, go on. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I've heard that they even will pick it up.
Yeah, they'll even pick it up. It's just like if you want them to pick it up at a specific time, that's when you have to pay. But by default, you don't have to. It's just like you just schedule it a day or two ahead. It depends. Like if it's over the weekend, they may not pick it up over the weekend, but they'll pick it up on Monday.
We gotta start doing that. Save ourselves grief and some extra work, I think.
Yeah, we're really big on making sure that our process is as streamlined as possible, but that's one area we just haven't, and it's not making an excuse, just we've been so busy otherwise, and it's like, oh, now it's time for us to actually go and ship this stuff out. Oh, crap, we need stuff to Pirate Ship.
Well, you should probably... And it's, what's good is that also you could program it to actually have certain packages, so you don't need to do it over and over and over again. So like if they have comic book album, that's a price for that, that's the size for that, and you just automatically do it, and it'll calculate the rate to the country or whatever it's going to.
Yeah, we need to get a website now. We need to find a way. If anybody out there knows a way to add 26 or 27 hours a day, please let us know. Because I think we're going to need that to be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
We'll be in good shape to kind of research it. We're just the way that we are. We want to make sure that we know everything. Just like I was saying earlier, before we change our process a little bit. And I don't know, it's one of those things where if it's not broke, don't fix it. But then there are those situations where it's like, if you want to make your life easier, you gotta learn new things sometimes.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you set up a Pirate Ship account now, I mean, I'm not trying to be forceful, but it's like, you set it up now, it will literally take you less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's something we've got to do. a lot, and that's what we're all about, because there's only 2 of us doing it, you know. It's not like we're not fortunate enough to employ 13 people, you know, like, you know, the big dog group. Yeah.
No. Well, actually, it's kind of funny because, like, with one of the things that I did is that I'm pretty sure you do this, but like when, let's say if I get the prints first, right? If I get prints first, and then I go ahead and do the thing, and I get it done, and it's like, oh, okay, I went ahead and did the thing, but it's like I'll get the prints first. I'll ship everything that has the prints. If I get these certain items first, I will ship them off first. But then if I get more complicated ones, I'll just wait until I get everything and then send it. I'm pretty sure you guys do that.
Yeah. Even with this campaign, we had to intentionally put a whole section at the bottom because we have 2 different ship dates.
Because splatter vinyl and colored vinyl is a manual process in the way that it's produced, and the record production plants are really backed up more than you would expect. So if somebody ordered just a comic, or they ordered some of the smaller things, we're going to be shipping those at one date. If you've got vinyl or any of the leather work that comes in this campaign, that's going to probably have to be shipping out a couple of months later. And we wanted people to know, hey, if you just get a comic, you're not going to have to wait till some other person who's getting vinyl gets their package shipped out for you to get your comic, and vice versa. We just wanted to make sure that it was very much communicated to people that there's nothing we can do when the vinyl pressing plan tells us 3 to 4 months on a delay before you can get your vinyl. We can't do anything about that, but we're not going to make people that are just getting comics pay that price, so to speak, and have to wait that long to get their comics.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cost benefit. Like, if it's going to be a long time, then yeah, I mean, you can afford to do that. Yeah, so it's like one of those things. And I know Dory said, don't trust any postage calculators. They're not always insane. Yeah, I mean, I've tried to estimate it on the U.S. Postal Service. I don't know how I did that because sometimes it's confusing with a mass amount of packages. And what I like about Pirate Ship is they pick the most cheapest option for you, but they break it down so it's simple.
Yeah, that sounds right up our alley. If it's going to make something simpler, for sure.
Yeah, I hate bullshit personally, so it's like, if it's
we have no bullshit allowed.
Yeah.
Policy going on, I think.
Yeah, totally. It's like probably just because I'm using large, heavier packages too. Well, and also Dory, like a lot of times how they label the packages, it should be really straightforward, but sometimes they're not. It's like they'll have several million classifications and you're like, which ones are which? But what I like about Pirate Ship is that it breaks down to what's relevant. And it's nice because they also have media mail capabilities too. So if you're just sending books, that's it, you know. I mean, even if you use Gemini mailers or whatever, if it's just books. Now, they can get a little bitchy. They say, oh, if it's just a comic book, but graphic novels are fine. So it's like, okay, so just say graphic novel.
Yeah, we found if it's got a spine on it, or if you're able to send multiple comics in there, that they don't normally give you any hassle.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they see it's just a single comic, they're like, there's advertising here. Well, not really, it just doesn't have a spine.
Yeah. So
one of the things we want to bring up is we are well known for doing drawings. And
yes.
We do post-campaign drawings. I think that Steph would be perfectly fine if we throw this out there. If we could get to 10,000 before the end of the day, we'll do a 10,000 drawing. Anybody that's in the campaign before 10,000, we'll do a special drawing for everybody there. We've already got one for 100 backers, one for 150 backers, a couple for different talk shows and all that we've done. But if we can get to 10,000 by the end of the day, any single person that is in our campaign that is backed, we will find a way to be able to get you some kind of item if we can get there by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
what do you think about that, Steph?
I am totally fine with that. One of our post-campaign drawings is one of my favorite things that we do. We have a lot of fun with them, and it's kind of funny sometimes watching. We'll do it on a live stream, and it's fun to see people's reactions to winning something, or there might be an item that somebody really, really wants. There's been a few times that we've had an item that one person has really, really wanted, and they've gotten it. We call their name. That's always exciting. It's fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
A a couple campaigns ago, we had people like Thomas Tenney and Chuck Pinu that had contributed some items. Even our leather worker contributed some items. And it was great. It was great that they were able to get that special added benefit. The last campaign, we actually had some of our collectible merch that we put in there, foil covers, limited edition covers. We, put a few of those in there, music CDs. We'll probably have a combination of that this time. We're not really sure what we're going to have in there yet, because we're not sure how many drawings we're going to have. But we'll make sure that everything is worth your while. Last time, everything we had in there was, if you were a physical backer, was between 10 and 30 bucks that we were to sell it on our shelf. We find ways to get some digital items in there as well. And like I said, the quicker we can get to these goals, the quicker people get into the campaign, the more drawings you have a chance to be in. And like Steph said, we've had people that have got the item they wanted, but let's say that person won that item. That doesn't mean that their name is out of the rest of the drawings. If you're in 7 drawings and your name is in there and your name gets picked 7 times, you're lucky freaking dead.
Yeah, so, that's good.
We always want to find ways to give back. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about us getting our dollar amounts up or getting our backer counts up. We always want to find ways to improve the value of what people are getting from us, so they know that we're about making sure that your money is well spent, that your support and your time is well spent as well.
Yeah. It's also interesting. Here's another tip that I learned from people I kind of found out myself. Sometimes, you're handling and juggling a lot of rewards, right? And what I found interesting is that when you juggle a lot of rewards, you tend to skip out on some that you could possibly do, the combinations. And one time I had a dude just message me. He was from Australia, real nice guy. He just said, hey, do you have this and this in PDF form? And I said, let me look. He says, you don't have it. If you do that, I'll totally get it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. So, because it'll earn you, it's no extra cost. It'll earn you extra money. Screw it. It's a pledge. It's not that much skin off your back. You just take a few minutes and do it and message them, say, here you go. I made it. It's called this. Do it. And that's what's kind of nice. It's like you do that for people. And then they actually like that and they'll spread it. And then there's more and more and more and more other people. Like sometimes like my friend Denise, I don't know what it is, but she'll put together a custom reward. Because she said, well, I like this, this, and this. Can I get this? I said, sure. And so I put it together and literally 3 or 4 other people will frickin' go and get that same reward. And I thought I was pretty thorough, but the thing is that listen to your customers. Sometimes you'll get a one-off, but if it gets you that reward, I mean, some people go like, well, I don't want to go out of my way. I said, look, if you're doing a Kickstarter for a pin, right? And if they say, I want a whole new custom pin, okay, no, the Kickstarter is for these sets of pins. But if they say, I'd like this pin, this pin, this pin, but you don't have it as a combo, just put it together. It takes a few minutes. And that will get you an extra pledge. And it might get you several other extra pledges because people are like, wow, I want that combo. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And people have commented to us, hey, you guys sure have a lot of tiers out there. It's a lot of tiers to go through. It goes back to what you said. We've got tiers like Let's Get Steamy, which is like a lot of our steampunk stuff, an entry-level steampunk tier up to like every possible thing steampunk-wise. Let's Get Medieval, entry-level medieval up to everything we've done medieval-wise. Completionist tiers, we had a musician who was involved with the project that tragically was killed right before we started doing this. And
that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. We had a James Sims came in and did a tribute cover for him. The Game of Thrones throne that's designed, made out of all of Corey's guitars.
Oh, wow.
An incredible cover. And we had a lot of people that wanted to get anything that Corey did, so we did a line of Corey tiers. And then we had stuff that was based around the campaign. And even after all that, we had somebody messages saying, hey, I'd like to get this. I don't see that option on the campaign.
Yeah.
Like you said, we went in and did that. We've actually had a couple people take it. We had people go into our add-ons. Hey, I see that you don't have this thing or that thing as an add-on. We're like, wow, that's crazy. And our big phrase is, we are not in the sales prevention department, as told out for my brother. But if it takes a little bit of time to go and set something up in the background so that your customers aren't having to do extra work, that may be the difference in them backing you or not and going on the campaign and they can more easily find what they're looking for. So 100% completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, out of curiosity, so I haven't done Kickstarter since last year. I mean, I'm still planning it. I'm kind of like, also I haven't thought of a project that I seriously wanted to do at this very moment. You know what I mean? I'm working on a set of tarot cards. That's one of the things I'm drawing now. But I was curious to know, now, do you, So does Kickstarter now have its own built-in back like add-ons, or because I know there are other third parties that you can employ to do that, or is Kickstarter?
Yep, Kickstarter's doing it now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really nice. This is our first campaign dealing with the add-ons, and it's kind of funny too because we have so much stuff that there were some things that we forgot to put on the add-ons, and we've actually had people message us and say, hey, I wanted to add this on, but I don't see it, and we'll go right up there and fix it and put it on there. So it seems to be working really well. We'll see at the end of the campaign how it does, but it's nice to have. It's definitely nice to have because no matter how many tiers we make, there is going to be something, and we have a lot of support merch from Tales from Nocturnia and some of the other campaigns that we did that, somebody may want, like we've had a couple people that we had challenge coins made during one of our campaigns for Tales from Nocturnia that has the face of the king on it. It looks like their currency that they would have used in Nocturnia, and we've had a couple people that have picked up that because there's a lot of people that collect challenge coins. They may not want to go into one of the bigger tiers that has a whole lot of other items, or they may have those items already and not have the challenge coins. So that's where the add-ons are really nice.
Yeah, so that's good that they're doing that.
One of the things too that we were concerned about at the beginning, but Kickstarter absolutely let us know the answer to the situation, and we are able to see it in our own usage of it, is that if it is a digital tier, a tier that is set up with no shipping because it's digital, you only will see certain add-ons on the back end. So you can't have somebody that's like, oh, I want to go game the system and back for a couple $1 digital tier and then add on an item that's physical and get around the shipping.
Okay.
So it's designed that digital tiers will only get digital add-ons. Physical tiers can get any add-on, and you can add additional shipping on as well. So if it's a situation where you're like, hey, I've got this big, huge thing over here that whether it's a tier, whether it's added on, is going to be additional shipping, you can add that on. For most of ours, I don't think that we have a situation where we had to do that. If we did, it was very uncommon, but most of the time, we set the shipping to 0 because we already had the shipping set in the regular tier.
I see.
So there's definitely some functionality there that they just implemented recently. Because I know that people, when they said that the add-ons were just added, that they didn't have that for the first few months, the first month or so. But in recent, like when we set our campaign, if they finally had that implemented, which is huge, because we were very nervous about that. We didn't want somebody going in there and trying to game the system. We're like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick a digital tier, and you're going to have to ship some stuff to Europe, it's fast.
Oh yeah.
They know what they're doing, and they've got it all worked out. It seems really easy. Again, it's our first time doing it, but so far really, really like having that option. And I for myself, I would like that option too, because there's many times that I'll add all I need to do.
Got you on that. Yeah. So I mean, it seems like so far you guys are pretty satisfied with how your Kickstarter is going in general, like just how things are.
It's been awesome, and it was funny because we always talk about, hey, how do you think this one's going to go? What are your predictions? And I actually was predicting a little bit less this time, just because it's such a different offering than what we have done before. When the last album came out, that was before we were doing Kickstarter campaigns. So this is the first time we've done Kickstarter. We've offered the CD as part of other tiers, but this is the first time we've offered new music and doing basically a one-shot comic when we're known for large trades and long story arcs. I was a little bit nervous because I thought this is different than what we've offered before, and I'm not sure how people are going to react, if they're going to want to jump on board. But people jumped on board. People are awesome and have supported us. We've got amazing people in our corner that will support us no matter what we do, which is always nice to have.
Yeah.
But we know that they're not just throwing us a bone, they actually believe in what we're doing, and that's what matters.
That's really good. I mean, I'm glad that that's happening, because it's like, you will have a much more boring world if you have the same old thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We want to go to the next level, and it's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't think that we could have predicted here we'd be a vinyl option, but hey, collectors like what they like.
Yeah, right? Oh, William says, I can't believe this is almost done. It's like sometimes,
I
like,
know. We were on with William at the beginning of our campaign, and it's flown by, even though we definitely, the middle of the campaign is tough. Anybody that's run a Kickstarter campaign knows exactly what I mean. You've got your high at the beginning because you've got all the backers coming in, and then you get a resurgence of the backers usually at the end, especially when Kickstarter sends out that 48-hour, email to followers.
mm-hmm.
And the middle can be a little bit of the doldrums. It's tough. It's a grind, like Matt said. You've got to promote, try to turn over every rock
Mm-hmm.
to find people that may not know about the campaign. Facebook algorithms make it difficult sometimes. Not just Facebook, all social media. And
Well, let's face it, facefuck is facefuck, That's how I call it, facefuck, basically, because sometimes I get really annoyed by them.
Absolutely is.
Yeah, I mean, we've had situations happen. Like yesterday, we actually messaged back out to all of our previous campaigns and let them know we've tried to not do that very often during this campaign, because we don't want somebody to just be like, oh my gosh, you've sent me so much communication, you're driving me insane. But even as recently as yesterday, we've had people that were like big time backers, people that were like, that have promoted our stuff before, that have opted into our email list, and they didn't even know we had a campaign.
Wow.
We posted stuff on our Facebook pages, we posted stuff in groups, we've sent out emails, we've put stuff on Twitter and on Instagram and through our previous Kickstarter campaigns, and they just had not seen it. And it's just unbelievable how communication about crowdfunding campaigns gets squashed, no matter what, whether it's getting put into spam folders or promotion folders or whatever it may be. So we're like, there could be other people out there that would legitimately want to back our campaign, people that we know are faithful backers that may have just never heard about it. And we're like, you know what, we'll take the chance, send the communication out to everybody, because we would rather take that communication and maybe on bended knee have to apologize for having too much communication than have somebody out there legitimately go on day 31, well, I would have backed you guys, but I didn't know. How dare you not let me know that you guys had it out there? And now, screw you guys for not messaging me. And so we didn't want that to be the situation.
Yeah, I think it's like if you send an email out like 3 days in a row, that's going to be annoying as hell. But if you like go and say like, okay, hey, like every so often or every week, 3 times, if it's 3 times a day or whatever, you want to just like actually put it out there. It's like you have to learn to the balance of less is more, but you got to do it in a good enough spread where it gets everywhere.
It's so tough to know what's too much promoting and what's not enough promoting. And one of the things that we always live by is that you can't just go and spam a bunch of boards on Facebook and just dump your Kickstarter link and say nothing, or say, please back us, because people are going to get annoyed by that really quickly, and that doesn't tell them anything about who you are or what your campaign is about. You have to kind of make it fun and interesting, and so that somebody that's reading it and looking at it goes, these people are cool, I want to check out what they're about, what they're creating. And so that we try to do that with every post, so that it's not something we literally spend all day racking our brains on how can we be creative and sharing this with people.
Yeah, like for me, it's like funny because like I actually went on there on one Kickstarter like thing on Reddit, and I put it up there, and I just told the funny story, like this is what it is, it's about, but it's Demon Bitch, right? And one guy says, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I'm backing it because it made me laugh. Even though I thought I was clear. Yeah, I mean that was really cool of him to do. So I can't shit on that. Like, however they find, the thing is like you're creating joy, even though if you're making a real dark ass comic book and it's angry and pissy or whatever it is, it's like you're bringing like I was taught in a video game class, design class, like you are manufacturing joy. Never forget that. And I think people forget that. That's what makes some of this shit really bad. And it's like, you go like, well, how come these like high-end or high-level video game companies, like they put out such horrible shit? And it sounds really Pollyanna-ish, but it's more of like, well, because they no longer felt like they had to manufacture joy.
Yeah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense too. I mean, one of the things that people appreciate about our campaigns that we've heard from people is we try to make it a 30-day event. It's not just like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, Christie Shinn's back to our campaign, now we're going to forget she even exists while we go after the next person. We want you to feel like, whether you back number one or whether you're the last backer of the campaign, we appreciate everybody the same amount, and there's always going to be things, whether it's trading cards or PDFs or additional little things as you go that are going to benefit you from being a backer. And something you said, really struck a chord with me, and I think you could equate it back to music. People don't go and buy an album because a band has an album out. They go and buy an album because they either A, are interested in hearing the music, or they like something about one of the members of the band.
Yeah.
Nobody's just going to, I'm just going to benevolently throw money at an album just because.
Yeah.
There's going to be a reason they want to take a chance on it. And I think that some people don't think that way in the comics world. They need to. People either are going to want to buy into the story that you are promoting and what's interesting to them, or the fact that they're like, hey, Steph Cannon, she's totally cool, I want to do everything, I'm a Steph Cannon fanboy or fangirl, and I want to get my hands on everything that she does because she has cultivated a personality out there. And far too often you see people that are just link dumping and wondering why am I not getting support of the other person over here? Well, it's because you're not doing anything to show them what is going to be meaningful to them. What is the investment in their money going to bring back to them? What's going to make this a win-win situation for each person? The win for us is we have backers and we have dollars. The win for them is they're getting a product that they're really going to enjoy. Our key phrase with everything Steph and I do is we either want to create characters people can relate to or universes people want to escape into. Because everybody wants to do that. They want to see something out there that they can relate to in that story or the universe they want to go escape into for a time. And if we can do that and people feel like that's what's been done, then we feel like it's a job well done at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. I mean, you don't want to get to the point where people are going like, oh, you're a douchebag, and then they just leave mean comments on your shit all the time. I've seen that happen where it's like, whoa, like, what did this person do? I'm not saying there aren't douchebags out there, but there are sometimes, like, I've seen how a creator treats the potential fan base to fan base. I'm not talking about if a person is really going out of their way to bully them, but if a person is just if they basically are just mean and kind of nasty, and they kind of just say, well, you're just nothing but just money to me. It's like, well, yeah, great. And then guess what? They don't get very nice responses, let's say.
That will always cause somebody to crash and burn eventually. It may not happen right away, but you have to be kind to others. I mean, it sounds kind of such a cheesy generalization.
Well, it doesn't hurt to be nice. It really doesn't.
It doesn't hurt to be nice. You can't let your ego get the best of you. You have to really treat your potential fan base and your growing fan base as people and not just numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We actually, a lot of times, remember that, because it's really cool when you get backers that you don't know. They're not a fellow creator, they're not a friend or family member, they're not somebody that you may necessarily have a conversation with briefly online, somewhere at a board. They're just somebody that found your campaign somewhere through Kickstarter or social media somewhere and decided to back you. Those are really cool because that's a new person that you get to know, and we remember a lot of their names. It's really fun when you see these recurring names and you know them. You only know them through them backing you, and it's like the fifth time you think, hey, this person's finally backed us again, yay, So we celebrate every backer. It doesn't matter if they want to just throw a dollar support our way. Well, they still took the time out of their day and believed in us, and that so that matters just as much to us as somebody that's going to give the whole shebang, as we like to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely really cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like you have to. It's really good to have backers. It's really good to have people that just are there for you. And it's just, it kind of touches me. It's like, wow, you took a chance on me. This is awesome, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you feel a responsibility. I mean, we do at least. We have a responsibility to make sure that we deliver on what we do to all these backers that are out there, because we want to be able to continue to do this. And if we don't deliver on time and deliver a quality product,
if they don't see that we're growing as creators, they're going to start falling away from us because they're going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's always looking to the next, the newest, the greatest thing. And if we're not constantly evolving and growing, they're going to move on to the next thing, and we're not going to be able to continue doing this.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Well, it is now 1:30, guys. Guys, my audience, I'm sorry if I was not able to respond to half of your comments. Apparently, my Restream IO is being a butthole. So I apologize. I was not ignoring you if you are on Twitch or YouTube. I don't know what's going on. I still have some stuff to bang out. But I want to let you know, please back these wonderful people up. I would love to see that. Please back them up. They're really great people. I'll go ahead and pop this link up here and for my other things. It may look repetitive, but it's something that I can do right here. So please just back them up. Give them money. They got 4 days left. You got until Sunday, but don't delay. Share it amongst you. Tell your friends about it, because organic reach is actually the best thing that we can do right now. Because with Facebook and all these other idiots like doing whatever shit they're doing, you know, you want to kind of bypass the system. So, you know, be a little bit of a rebel. Give to these guys. You know, they've been there. They've been supportive. We've all been supporting each other. Support them. You know, I want to see those numbers go up. I want them to come back to me and say, hey, we got this much back. So please do that.
We'd love it. We'd love it if that happens. And thank you so much for allowing us to be.
Yes,
you know,
thank you for letting us hang out.
Yeah, no, it was my pleasure.
And you even said you don't normally do this on Wednesdays, but just for us, you know, you did. So, you know, you guys that are out there, when Christie decides that she's going to be launching another campaign, whenever it is, remember that. Christie didn't have to do this today, but she selflessly did.
She did.
And that's
Oh, you're welcome.
That means a lot, too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the creators in the industry are very supportive of one another. When Steph and I sit down to think about how we're going to budget for advertising for our campaigns, we always have a spot that says we are going to budget this much to back other people's campaigns.
Yes.
Because you know what? We can put it in Facebook's pockets to try and get, you know, targeted ads out there, or we can just go directly to people and back their campaigns. And
By the way, they suck. They suck. Their ads suck
Yeah.
ass. Sorry. I'm just being
Yes.
public.
Yeah, so we'd much rather be taking that money and putting it in the pockets of other people out there doing the same kind of grind that we are, and helping them, you know, the phrase we've already said today many times, and we'll say it every day, you know, rising tide raises all ships, and if we can help to raise someone else's ship while our ship is raising, then we all will.
Yes.
So they're lovely people. Go back their shit. I let them go and hit the level of 10.8. 10.8, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at? Okay. So, guys, you take care.
Thank you so much.
And you know what? Thank you. And it has been a joy while I draw. So, you guys, you take care. My audience, please support them. Okay? And if you have any questions, throw it at my way. Talk to them. They're real nice people. Talk to you guys.